Betterthancash.org. Betterthancash.org. Now, when you go to their website, you're going to notice right away at the top of the page, you have top of the page, right-hand corner, UNCDF, United Nations Capital Development. And so this is a UN group. Then right next to that, Sustainable Development Goals. And who's it hosted by? The United Nations. This is a UN group. Betterthancash.org. Here it says right there in their own members. The Alliance has 80 members committed to digitizing payments. These include national governments from Africa, Asia, Pacific, and Latin America. Global brands across the agriculture, garment, and fast-moving consumer goods sectors, UN agencies, and humanitarian non-governmental organizations, or NGOs. Listen now. Here's what it says. As we are based at the United Nations. Okay? There you go. Our alliance is neutral on what types of digital payment platforms or channels are appropriate in each market. We recognize that digital payment solutions will vary across geographies and that as innovation is a constant in this sector, digital payment options will also change quickly. What matters to us is that the shift from cash to digital payments is done responsibly and builds the foundations for inclusive growth. Now they claim we do not want to abolish physical cash. I don't believe them. But rather ensure that people have choices in how they make and receive payments. It's important for people to have digital payment options which are responsible and better than cash. So, for example, a woman can have a payment account in her own name, which she manages. So they're doing this in regards to empowering women. We got to empower women. We're going to give them their own account. They can have their own cash. Look for a lot of ways for them to sell this. Better than cash. Now, I'm going to play a clip for you here, but the goal that I want you to understand is this is all about how to push Agenda 2030 sustainable development. Because many of us have thought for years, now, how are they actually going to get everybody to jump on board with this? You know, we've been talking about sustainable development, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030 is what it's called now, since 1992 in the Earth Summit in Rio. George H. Bush got us into this globalist Nazi plan. I think that's exactly what it is. I describe that in great detail in my book, The Coming Religious Reich. So how are they going to force this onto people? That's what many of us wondered in 1992. Well, you're about to hear from a lady that is the one running this group, betterthancash.org, and she openly says the way they're going to push the sustainable development goals is through a cashless society. No one will be able to buy or sell. And those that don't comply, you'll be turned off. Your company will be allowed to die. So remember, we have a couple things going on here. We have social justice scores or social credit scores. Social credit scores for individuals. And then we have what are called ESG for corporations, environmental, sustainable, and governance. They're all really the same thing, but one is for individuals, one is for corporations. If you don't comply, you won't be on the internet. You won't be allowed to transact business on the internet because everyone will have to have a digital ID to operate. We've shown you the screenshot from the World Economic Forum many times. You won't be able to vote, go online, have a website, travel, get on an airplane without a digital ID. Last week, thanks to the research of our associate producer, Leo Holman, we were able to bring to your attention 2 U.S. senators that have now introduced legislation to give every American a digital ID. A digital ID. This is moving very quickly. It sounds awfully similar to something we read in Revelation chapter 13. No one would be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark, right? So who are some of the companies and governments behind betterthancash.org? Take a look at the website. Take a look at this. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Shocker. Shocker. Would you like to know who some of the other companies that are involved? How about Target? In fact, let's go to the international. Let's go to companies. Just click this one. They'll break it up for us. Oh, there you go. Gap Inc., H&M, Target, the Coca-Cola Company. That's just some of the companies involved. We come back, we can look at some of the governments involved. What governments are involved in this idea of getting rid of cash? And we'll hear from the lady running this who says this is how we're going to push sustainable development. Let's go back to this website. This is the betterthancash.org website. It's made up of 80 different members. When you go there, you can actually look, about them and see all their members. You can then go to governments, international organizations. Let's go to international organizations. Right away, we see the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. We see the Arab Monetary Fund. We see the International Fund for Agricultural Development. Clinton Global Initiative. Well, that should make you feel real good about this. Clinton Global Initiative. We have the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, the Graham Foundation. Catholic Relief Services. Catholic Relief Services. CARE, that's another, I think that's a UN group. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. Let's go to a speech that was given back in 2019 that I found today. Listen to what she says and how they're going to use central bank digital dollars, digital currency, getting rid of cash, to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, which means getting rid of humans. Listen to what she says.
This conference is at the right time because we have to achieve the SDGs in 10 years. I'm going to talk about that, but with a quick introduction to the Better Than Cash Alliance. We're hosted by the United Nations, and we are an alliance of governments and companies and international organizations that are each committed, each has to commit before they join the alliance to moving away from cash to some form of digital option. We don't actually care what kind, as long as it's appropriate, affordable, responsible in that market. They do it for...
Now, let me just stop right there. We don't care what the digital currency is. Why? Because at the end of the day, what we have discovered is that the digital currency can have different names in different nations.